would all of you please either mute or turn off your cell phones? And while the public is invited to attend, we do not take any input at public input at work sessions. So, Chief, you have three or four items here. So let's start with, first on my agenda is digital equipment.
Thank you, Dr. Rennie. Chief Mark Francisco with Cheyenne Police Department. Thank you, Council, for your time to entertain this matter. So, first off, we have what we're calling digital equipment and software. Those of you that were on the Council probably a year and a half ago will recall our body cameras were at end of life and malfunctioning with some frequency. So, it was funded for us to transfer our body camera program to the Axon body-worn camera. So I will talk about this project mainly in terms of Axon. However, we were a little bit vague in the description of our project because this, if we are awarded this project and funded, we'll probably have a couple of years before we actually make the transition. So at that time, we would want to explore, what's best for us. So we might change from Axon, but if we had to do it right now, we would likely want to stay with Axon. So what remains to be done, and just a reminder, Axon and almost every other digital equipment provider works on a subscription basis now. So these things are generally 5-year contracts with the option to renew at the end of that, of course. So the funding we're seeking is for a 5-year contract. We need to complete the transition in our vehicles because most of them are still using the old system. So they don't integrate directly with Axon, which is workable but not ideal. So our plan would be to continue the body camera, transition to the in-car cameras, and upgrade to the latest electronic control device, commonly known as tasers. We are currently using about a 10-year-old technology in our tasers. They're not supported anymore. Soon will probably be not even available for purchase. So we would like to upgrade to the latest model of taser, which has a much better track record than for effectiveness than the ones we're currently using. Also, along with this comes unlimited storage and a few add-on things that we would like to do. Third-party storage, so all our digital evidence would be in the same place. It has a an AI powered report writing assistance. In other words, your body camera captures your interview, victims, suspects, what have you, and it generates a report that you have to review, make any corrections to. Fort Collins was a test market for this, and it saved them about 20% of their officers' time in report writing, so frees up 2 hours out of a 10-hour day. And also the in-car camera system has an integrated...
Chief, I need to interrupt you for a moment. Jennifer's giving me...
Can I just have a moment? I'm getting messages that we don't have volume. I'm not sure why, so hold on.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I was getting a timeout signal from the bench.
Understood. It's not the first timeout signal I've gotten. Anybody got one? We were not prepared for that.
Tom, can you let me know? Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm sorry, everybody.
No worries.
Do I have to start over?
You might give a brief... Tom, Councilman Seagrave, did you hear any of the chief's presentation, or was there a certain point where you lost him?
I don't think you need to start over. I was watching all the digital stuff, so I'm good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, please proceed.
The remaining item I think I was going to cover is the in-car cameras also have an automated license plate reader function, should you choose to subscribe to that. It works much like the Flock system that you all approved earlier in the year. It captures and reads license plates, will alert you if any of the plates have some kind of alert or want or warrant on them. One particular story that affected us, we were on the way to a residential burglary where the victims were inside the house, and unbeknownst to us, we passed the suspect car on the way there, which we had some video of it, but it wasn't clear enough to read the license plate. Had we had this technology, it would have picked up that license plate. Once we realized that was a suspect vehicle, we would have been a lot further along in our investigation. We ended up catching that guy, I think, in Chicago or something like that, because of their LPR system picked it up for us. So that is one of the subscription items we would be seeking to fund with this. The total cost for a 5-year subscription to these items would be $3.7 million. And I would entertain any questions on those items.
Any questions from the council members on the digital equipment portion?
Yes, sir.
Councilwoman Aldridge.
President Rennie, through you. So I know that one of the concerns that we've had previously has been storage space. So, and you said that this would have an increased amount of storage space. Would it still be finite, or would it be unlimited?
It would be unlimited.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Additionally, I'm wondering about the cameras that, with this system, is there the ability, first, is it their ability to read license plates just as they're passing the car, or do you have to purposefully, point, I don't know, like a radar gun at them or whatever? And then secondly, did the cameras that they use in other cities, like to get people that are running red lights and things like that, would there be the ability to eventually connect into a camera system like that, or to the LPR reader that we just approved recently, so that we would have a complete system?
Chief?
Thank you, Dr. Rennie, through you. In answer to your first question, it is automated. So as you're driving down the road, it's continually seeking out license plates and capturing them. Then you can go back and search those based on a car description or an actual license plate. So you don't have to physically do anything. In answer to your second question, I don't believe any of those systems would integrate in any meaningful way. Your standard red light cameras and speed enforcement cameras are pretty well self-contained. It's usually proprietary software by the vendor and goes through them. The flock camera will integrate because it's a web-based system, so officers can actually access information from the flock cameras in their car on their computer.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council members? Councilman Roybal.
Mr. Chair, through you. Did you say 3.4 million?
3.7.
3.7. So do we write a check day one at 3.7, or do we do every year 750,000?
It is billed on a yearly basis.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Councilwoman Emmons.
Mr. President, through you. So this is just the subscription. We wouldn't actually own anything. It's just the subscription, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. We would own our video that's uploaded to the cloud. That remains ours. Should we, in the future, change to another system, we get that back. The actual physical hardware is essentially rented or leased. With this includes, I believe it's one upgrade. Should they upgrade to a newer model, they will replace our current model for free. It's part of the subscription. We break a camera, something goes wrong with the battery, so forth, they replace them. So it's really a kind of a turnkey thing, really. They will come in, install the cameras in our cars, transfer our data to the cloud that we currently have, get it all in the same place. So it's a pretty seamless integration.
And then I have a
Go ahead.
follow. So is this kind of the best practice now, rather than actually owning anything? It's more of a subscription service. So we're going to have to do this again in 5 years, I guess, is my...
Likely, yes, ma'am. Most if not all of the vendors have gone to this business model, really for everything, not just this kind of stuff. So unless something changes with their business model in the future, I anticipate this continuing on in pretty much perpetuity.
Do you have any questions?
Just one quick,
Go ahead, Mr.
through
Roybal.
you, Mr. Chairman. So you mentioned that they replace cameras if they're broken or if they malfunction, I think. With your particular vocation, there's a lot of violence, is a nice word. Do we break a lot of cameras, or are a lot of cameras
I don't believe
disabled?
we do. They're pretty rugged. We've had a couple, I think, malfunction in some way. I wouldn't call them broken. They're really easy to deal with. They send us one, we send it back. That's all it takes. I think we've had a couple of batteries that were problematic, and I think we had one lens problem right off the bat with a brand new camera. So our experience so far has been very good.
Any other questions?
have
Let
one
me
more.
see if Mr. Moody, Mr. Escabel. Councilman Seagrave, do you have any questions?
No, sir, thank you.
Councilwoman Aldridge.
President Rennie, through you, I was just wondering, I believe that we, in the last six-penny ballot, didn't we have cameras, did we have cameras in storage on that? Okay, so,
One of those, storage.
storage,
we
okay.
had.
Is there anything that we have that we would have a trade-in value on if we went to this new system?
I don't believe so. Our in-car cameras and our old tasers are essentially have a zero value at this point.
Okay, thank you.
So if nobody else has a question, I have a couple. In the past, for essentially the things that come under digital equipment, past software contracts or whatever, how did we pay for those then?
General funds.
Okay. All right. I guess kind of following up on what, and obviously this is a decision for us to be made later, but following up on what Councilwoman Emmons kind of was relating to is that I've always viewed the 6-penny or this special purpose option tax as special projects that aren't recurring. And this is obviously going to become a recurring budget item, so I hate to become dependent on that because occasionally one of our bundles will fail and then we're still scrambling for money.
Yes, sir.
That's-
As having run a budget before, I agree with you. That's can be problematic. It's not as problematic as funding positions. Let's say we come to the end of this 5 years and we tried to renew it, it failed. The bottom line is we don't have to have any of this stuff. It is best practice, and I would certainly hate to run a police department without it. But it is not like people, it's not like other things that you just have to have. There's nothing that requires us to absolutely have this. Like I said, I would hate to run a police department without it. I think it proves its value over time. But when the tax is over, we do have options.
Okay,
We can
thank you,
renew
Chief.
some, none, all, however we want to do it.
Okay, Councilwoman?
President Rennie, that just caused me to think, do we have any recurring cost on what we currently have that if this were to pass and we were able to implement this all at one time or over the course of the time period, would it be replacing something that we're already budgeting for in the budget, that this would just be an increased amount?
I don't believe
going
so,
forward?
because our current systems that we currently have are not subscription-based. Like I said, it would replace the equipment. They would free up some of our storage that I would assume IT could task to other purposes, because we would not have to have on-premise storage for this. Otherwise, I don't believe so.
Okay. Anything else on this subject? All right. Thank you. Moving on, range improvements is what I have next on my agenda.
Range improvements, those of you who have been here for a while, this is probably the second time you'll have heard some of this. As you can see from the picture, your kind of picture, the small picture called Current Shoot House, is a dilapidated structure that we have used in training over the years for live fire training, which has kind of fallen out of favor and best practice of things to do. However, that structure is the only place we have to really do that, and it is in dire need of being torn down. So we are proposing to replace that with a a building, a metal building that would contain a small classroom, some elevated platforms for observation of training, and a movable wall system that can be configured to whatever training you desire to complete. It's adaptable, so you can configure it for active shooter situation in a school. You can configure it to, just an apartment or a house with multiple rooms. You can move the whole thing out of the way and do vehicle training on the inside of this structure. It's you would use sim rounds in here rather than live fire, so it's just a paint marking, non-lethal version of the firearms we carry, and it really comports with best practice. There's really not many of these in Wyoming. I think the Training Academy has some, and Guernsey, the military establishment there, has some. So it's really kind of sorely needed for this area of the state. I realize when we talk about movable walls, you may wonder what that is, and we have just a short video to play that demonstrates this from one of our vendors. So these things can be constructed and moved with just a couple of people. So systems like this create a real-world training scenario for officers to communicate with each other and move through structures. Otherwise, you have to kind of pretend like you're doing it or whatnot, and it's just not. You don't want the first time you do this to be in a real world situation. It's configurable for crisis negotiations, crisis interactions, SWAT situations, de-escalation training. One of the first things we try and do is de-escalate a situation, so it'll allow officers to practice in a structure with rooms on how to maintain their cover, but be able to communicate for de-escalation purposes. So it's really a proactive risk reduction strategy to really give our officers the best training that's available. One other thing we would like to do is, you can see the bottom right-hand corner is what we call the pistol deck. You guys funded a target reconstruction system earlier, I guess it was late last year, which is working out great, but we would like to pave that pistol deck. The Wyoming rodents like to dig holes out there, and it creates a very uneven ground.
That's not more target practice?
Well, we'll cover that in another meeting, but it does create trip hazards, and we've had some twisted ankles and things like that. It's not what you want when you're handling live firearms. So that is something we've been seeking funding to do for a while. So at the same time, we would like to complete that step. We're estimating this project to be right at $1 million.
Chief, what's the square footage on the proposed building?
Gosh, I want to say it was 80 by 100, 120. So, we did our best to price this thing out ahead of time. So I think we built in a little bit of inflation. So our thought is we'll build the biggest one we can with the funding we have. And see, so that'd be 9,600 square feet.
Right. Yeah, I did the math already.
Thanks for the math. Any questions?
Any questions on range improvements? Let me start at the other end this time.
Okay.
Councilman Roybal.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So we'll contract with a local company to build a building, and then we'll buy the walls from a vendor?
That would be correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Emmons.
Mr. Chair, is this something that we could share with the county to do a joint kind of venture?
I wouldn't say no. I would say what we would prefer to do is what we do now, in that we charge other agencies to use our facilities. We have found that joint ventures can sometimes lead to misunderstanding about who's responsible for what and who gets to use what when. So my preference would be that we build it and allow others to use it for a subscription price.
Mr. Chair, that was my second question, was could we allow other counties, since there's nothing else in the region, for
We
a
certainly
fee?
could, and there is a lot of benefit to training with other agencies. We do on a SWAT basis. At times, we train with Laramie frequently. We'll even go to Colorado and train with some of those folks. So anytime we can train together, the local sheriff's office kind of puts us all on the same page. So we would certainly envision doing those kinds of things.
Councilwoman Aldrich.
President Rennie, through you, I also had the question about revenue potential, but I'm wondering, is the location going to be, where is that, will it replace the current shoot house on that land? And or where is it going to be in relation to the shooting range?
So when you see that shoot house, this is really behind the target ranges. So it would certainly be out of, the path of any live fire. We had discussed the possibility of not even putting it out there, but we tend to multitask our training days. So we would envision training both on the indoor system and the live fire range on most of our training days. So we've kind of come to the conclusion it'd be best put out there. But that is, we envision it going right where we would have to tear that structure down, and that is well out of the path of any of the ranges.
And my last question is probably for you, President Rennie. I know the county has done well on their projects on Sixpenny by loaning themselves money to go ahead and initiate those before all of the collection is done. And I'm thinking with increasing in inflationary cost as well as tariffs that are always looming, it seems these days, if these items were to pass, is there the potential that we could loan ourselves the funding and then pay it back as the tax is collected, so that we're not waiting until the end of the collection period to take on these projects where the cost has increased so dramatically that we get less for our bang for our buck, so to speak?
We have already thought of that and have done that in the past. The Public Safety Center is an example of a building we did that way. And Deputy Treasurer.
Brenda Moreau, Deputy City Treasurer. In fact, we did that with the fire trucks. Fifth Penny loaned it until we got the collections back. So that's a possibility.
That would certainly be our goal. We did that with the radio system, and at least some of these projects we think would benefit from getting them started sooner rather than later, for sure.
Any other questions on range improvements?
Mr. Chair.
And I didn't, Councilman Seagrave, anything?
No, I think it's badly needed and would hopefully be able to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Roybal.
Just a quick question through you, Mr. Chair. Could we bid the building and the parking lot or the shooting range asphalt in the same bid to maybe save some time and money?
I don't see why not, although I suspect the folks that build buildings probably don't do asphalt.
But, you're looking at asphalt, not concrete?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Right.
We could
probably do not then.
Yeah, we could probably be convinced to go one way or another, but I think we envision asphalt.
Yeah, I was just thinking that if we were putting the pad down for the building, that if they're there right then, we could.
And that might be, we could certainly explore that for sure. I think there's probably pluses and minuses to either way you go, but there'll definitely be concrete involved with the building.
And obviously we can talk to Mr. Battleboard, but we could do that as an alternate, just to see where it went. So with the movable walls, you said I was envisioning paintball, since you said it was like tagging with paint. How
Yeah.
often do you have to repaint the walls?
I don't
Are you
believe.
guys such dead eyes that you never miss?
Well, Yeah, we'll leave. Sure, we'll go with that. It is not that. It's more of like a chalky substance. So it probably almost never, honestly. Soap. It's actually soap.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would, depending on what the walls are construction, now you probably hose it off every once in a while if it gets too much. But
Okay.
yeah, you saw the targets up there that they were shooting at. We would hope most of them would be on the target and not on the wall, but.
Yeah.
Well,
Things
Chief,
happen.
if you want to bring a round in and try it on Escabel, I'm okay with that.
It's a little sting, just a little bee sting.
All right. Any other questions on range improvements? Next item is a multi-purpose rescue vehicle.
So we're referring to these. I'm going to talk about a product called Lenco. It's a manufacturer, Bearcat, is kind of the latest thing. But again, we're terming it this way so we have the option to explore what's currently available when we have the funding to pay for these things. So on the picture there, you'll see on the bottom picture, you'll see what we currently have, which is a military vehicle, military surplus vehicle called an MRAP. And then behind it in the picture is the vehicle we're talking about. That's a Lenco Bearcat, which is purpose designed for urban police operations. Those MRAPs that we currently use are approaching 15 years old, and they're complex mechanical systems, air brakes, things that can be problematic. And one of the biggest problems with them is they are huge. We have problems getting them around town in certain areas, down alleys, things like that, under some power lines. And they're clearly a military vehicle, which has kind of fallen out of favor in law enforcement around the country. Not so much here, I think, but a lot of places accuse police departments of becoming militarized, and using military vehicles doesn't help that perception for sure. These Lenco Bearcats are, like I said, purpose designed for law enforcement operations. They can hold 10 to 12 people. They're used to transport our SWAT officers, provide cover at critical incident scenes, and evacuate civilians as need be. We just assisted the U.S. Marshals with an operation they were doing in Albany County in the shadows of Laramie Peak. And believe it or not, our military vehicle could not get up the final stretch of where it needed to go, while the marshals with their Bearcat motored right on up there. So we think of those things as being able to go anywhere, but due to their size and top heaviness, they really can't. The Lenco Bearcat's been in use for, gosh, I don't know, almost 20 years. So they've worked out all the bugs on these things. It allows you to, should you need to use tear gas, to inject tear gas into a facility without exposing officers. It has a boom on the front of it that takes care of that. It is, of course, I probably should mention, it is largely bulletproof up to a 50 caliber rifle, and really is state of the art in current SWAT type operations. So we're looking to replace our 2 military vehicles with 2 of the Lenco Bearcats, or whatever's the latest and greatest at the time. But these guys have been in operation for a long time, and they really are in use everywhere in the country. So I would imagine it would be this company for a total price of $975,000 delivered. Stand for any questions.
Oftentimes when we get patrol cars in, we then have to do some modifications to them. Is there anything required with this vehicle?
I believe they pretty much come turnkey, other than probably mounting one of our existing radio systems in there.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's based on a Ford F550 chassis, easy to get parts, easy to work on. Comes with all the lights and all that stuff. So it's really just adding your own radio system.
Okay. Councilman Escabel.
Yeah, Mr. President, through you, so the old ones then, would we retire them or?
I knew that was coming. Did you want it surplused? Did you
Yeah.
want to bid on it?
Yeah, I could probably use one.
We'll sell each of them for $500,000. No, those go back to the military. That's the agreement we have with them, and they would, I'm sure, make them available to another community that might want to go that route.
Or another country? So. Okay, Councilwoman?
President Rennie, through you. So, because of the size, and it looks like the new ones would be easier to store, do we have inside storage for them?
That'll bring us to Project 4, but we currently, the military vehicles are stored in a facility at the Fire Training Academy.
And then I was curious, it talks about being through that they're good with high winds and rainstorms. Are these commonly used in snow conditions as well?
They are. There is some specific options you can get for, they call it their off-road package, but they have devices similar to fire trucks where the little chains spin around underneath, so they can be configured that way.
And I'm also wondering about the length of time it takes to get them once you order them. I know with our fire trucks, we've had a 2 to 3 year delay. So
It is not nearly that long. They churn out enough of these now that it doesn't take them long to get them. They may even have some already available, just depending on kind of where they're at in their manufacturing cycle.
And then my last question, President Rennie, through you is, it looks like our old vehicle has roof gun mounts. And it looks almost like a sunroof type apparatus on the top picture. Does that open then to be able to utilize gun mounts from the roof as well?
It does have a hatch on the top. It does not particularly have a gun mount per se, but you can open that and have cover and cover your team, and should you need to fire from up there, you can.
Okay, thank you.
And I would point out, these are in use in several communities around Wyoming. That unfortunate situation up in Sheridan a little over a year ago, they had Natrona counties, and I think Gillette's up there. Laramie has one, and then there's probably another one or two around the state.
Right. Councilman Moody.
Thank you, President Rennie, through you. More on the natural disasters aspect as well. So I'm assuming this would be good for wildfires because we know it's definitely. So, going there, if it has to go in the field to say, help out the fire trucks and the sheriff's department.
Well, they will be off-road capable for sure. Other than that, I don't think they have much of a firefighting capability other than transportation should we need to get off-road and get to somebody. They are heavy, not nearly as heavy as the current ones. So it's not going to float over some muddy areas too well, but they are very capable off-road for sure.
Thank you.
Councilman Roybal.
Just a question on the lifespan. How long would we keep these rolling?
Just general question on the lifespan. So we wouldn't anticipate putting a lot of miles on them, so you wouldn't have that issue. And like you said, they're based on a Ford F-550 chassis, which is not going anywhere anytime soon. So maintenance is certainly available for these things. And I know, just speaking from my previous experience in Kansas City, we got these in probably 2002. And they're still alive and well today.
Okay. And I don't want an MRAP, but if you had another taser laying around.
We'll see what we can do.
Okay.
We got to do something with the old ones. They do still work.
Do they only come in black?
No, you can have them painted whatever color you'd like. I would actually anticipate probably more of a tan or something like that. Greenish. Yeah.
Greenish?
Yeah.
I didn't know if we
What color do
painted-
you like? I know you like
No,
red.
yeah. No, I didn't know if we'd paint them to match our police cars or what the intent was.
Probably wouldn't make them white, but the Marshalls had a really nice one, configured very well, and it was kind of a greenish color. I don't know what, forest green. There you go. Jared knows the proper
Okay.
shade.
Councilman Seagrave, any questions?
Yes, through you, Dr. Rennie. If this passes, can I have the old military vehicle? I have some motorcycles and small loud cars I'd like to chase.
Well, I don't know if it's much of a chase vehicle, but we're willing, we're willing to work a deal on that for sure.
I'm sure there'd be a
It
large.
does have a gun mount.
I want the gun too.
I'm sure
Thank
there'd
you.
be a large segment of the community that would be willing to pay your bail. All right, on to storage building.
So storage has become a bit of an issue for us currently. As you can see, those are some of the pieces of equipment that we currently have to store. And sometimes, depending on who will let us use some of their space, we can have this stuff scattered over 4 different locations. Right now, the thing that belongs to us is a partial use of a building at the Fire Training Academy where the military vehicles and I believe our command post is stored. EMA has been gracious to temporarily let us use some of their space. We have also used some space at the Air Guard, which I think we recently got moved out of, and then Happy Jack, we store some stuff outside, which is not ideal. So we're seeking to build a metal storage building similar to what's already at the Fire Training Academy with enough space to store all of this equipment in one place and allow us some place out of the weather should we need to crime scene process vehicles and things like that. We can currently do a little bit of that at the Public Safety Center, but it's not a big space and it's not ideal for some of the criminal processing that we need to do. I have spoken to Chief Dykeshorn about the Fire Training Center and the available space. So we think there's enough space out there to build another building similar to the one they have out there. They could have their building back, and then we would have enough room to store all of our equipment in a central, easy to access to town location. We're estimating that project to cost $500,000.
And again, how many square feet?
This is the one that we didn't really spec out a building yet. I don't know what the current one they have out there that we only have half of, but I would suspect it would be a similar size. So about double what we have. We're at 40 by 45 out there now, and so we're estimating 40 by 80.
Okay. So that's only like 3,200 square feet.
Some things that we would like that aren't out there are pull-through doors and things like that. Some of these big pieces of equipment are kind of hard to back in and out of some of these spaces, so we'd configure it more for vehicle storage.
Okay. Let's go back to the right side. We'll go back the other way. Councilwoman Emmons.
Thank you, Mr. President. We built a storage building for EMA and the Department of Health to do basically what you want to do, and it was considerably more money than this.
Yeah, I've been in theirs. Theirs is configured a lot different than we need.
Okay.
They have all kinds of restrooms, a classroom, I think, in there, and a lot of stuff that we don't need. I think theirs was about $4 million, and it's much bigger than we're talking about.
Okay, so I guess my caveat would be
Build it big enough?
double it. Yeah, and double your size, because they're never big enough or you never have enough budgeted, so.
I agree. Understood.
Councilwoman Aldrich.
President Rennie, through you, I'm wondering where you are planning to build this, if it would be built out by the range and the practice area, or where you have land that you have available to build this on?
I think if we had to pick right now, we would probably want to build it at the fire training center. Just they have quite a bit bigger footprint than they actually use out there. So in my conversations with Chief Dykeshorn, he didn't think it'd be any problem for a building of that size to be put somewhere out there.
A follow-up question. Would you also, through you, President Rennie, would they be able to utilize it for some storage for any of their equipment as well, if it were located out there?
So the plan would be to return to them the portion of their building that we currently use, which should increase their storage by quite a bit. So they would have their building with their storage. We would have ours. We would anticipate using all of the building, though.
Okay, I was out there recently, and theirs is very, very, very crowded.
Yeah.
With everything in it. I'm also, if I've added this correctly, your total ask is 6.175 million.
That
is
sounds
that
right.
what you have?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
If they were interested in increasing space and wanted to throw in with us, we would certainly entertain that and build a much bigger building to serve all of us. I think that would be easy enough to do. We did not have that discussion, though.
Councilman Escobar.
Yes, Mr. President, did you have an idea of what the square footage was? Did you say that?
40 by 80 is what.
40 by 80.
Is the follow-up, was there any advantage to having that located downtown?
Well, I think the closer we could be to the public safety center, we would like. I just considered that one as available property to build on. If there was someplace closer downtown, we could certainly try to make that work.
Because I think we've been looking at a few of these properties in this area as well. So, just food for thought.
Mr. Chair, we do have the pump house available.
That's right.
We do.
We might need to add to that price if we're going to do that one. But no, I mean, to answer your question, the closer it is to the public safety center, I think the better for all of us. We were just we didn't put any land acquisition cost in here, so we were trying to use some existing city property.
Okay. Councilman Seagrave.
I'm not sure they would make the turns, but how about the top floor of the parking garage? You said in jest.
Yeah. I think they want something covered. So, all right. Any other questions on storage? Any questions overall? Chief, Captain, anything you'd like to add?
Did I miss anything?
Any of you?
No. I think we just had a kind of a summary page there. I think with a little bit of time left, the storage building, well, we're pretty firm on the rest of it. We'll take a close look at the storage building and make sure we're pricing correctly for the square footage. Thank you for the warning. I know how that goes.
Yeah, I've been involved in too many six-penny projects over the years that came in underfunded, so I'd rather
We did
estimate on
build
the
some
high
inflation
side.
into these things, but who can predict that?
Sure.
Yeah, so I think largely we'd be seeking to loan ourselves money and get these things done quicker rather than later, for sure.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, through you.
Go ahead, Mr.
So,
Rebel.
What would come out of the coffers this year would be $750,000 for the police digital equipment, $1 million for the range improvements, then what is it? I can't see. $975 for the response vehicle and $500 for the building. So about $2 million. 2.4.
2.5, and if
For the first year,
closer to
just based on the
3 if the building storage comes in more.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Well, thank you for your presentation and for the
you for your
information.
time.
We are
Appreciate it.
adjourned.